I'm cross-legged on my parents' wooden floor in Portland, marooned in a sea of torn wrapping paper and the plastics, wheat smell of a fake Christmas tree. Across from me, my sister, Chelsea, twirls a set of gleaming BMW keys between perfectly manicured fingers. The chrome flashes under fairy lights as she spins. 30, 2 going on 15. I cannot believe this. She squeals, bouncing like she's made of springs. My own Beamer. Dad's face opens with pride. Mom folds her hands under her chin like she's watching a miracle heal itself in our living room. Outside, a white car sits in the driveway, polished like bone, crowned with a red bow so oversized it probably costs more than everything beneath this tree that has my name on it. In my lap, a plastic piggy bank shaped like a cartoon character I stopped liking a quarter-century ago. The tag still clings to its $1 one. 99. Mom nods toward the rubber stopper. Open it. She encourages. My fingertips go numb. I do as I'm told. 2 fresh one. Dollar bills ghost out onto my palm. It's the start of your home fund. Dad proclaims, flicking his hand as if tossing me into a future he's already priced out. You're the responsible one with money. And like some people, he winks at Chelsea, who performs a wounded little gasp on cue. Silence pulls long and sticky between us until Mom cuts it. Chelsea needs reliable transportation for her new clients. InDesign image matters. Chelsea drops beside me, perfume soft and expensive. Don't worry, sis, she says, patting my knee as if I'm fragile glass. I'll drive you anywhere. Your little Toyota must be limping by now. My Toyota, the one that climbed mountain passes for 7 straight hours yesterday. This is an exception. Also rehearsed my announcement the entire drive from Seattle's senior structural engineer. I pictured their faces brightening, imagined, for once, being more than the dutiful older daughter orbiting the brilliant son named Chelsea. Maybe this year is different, I told myself at every rest stop and gas station. I set the piggy bank on the glass coffee table. The hollow thought rings in my ears. Excuse me, I say, surprised how small my voice sounds. Bathroom. I walk, not run, up the stairs, past the photo gallery where Chelsea's face dominates like a brand sponsor on a stadium. The bathroom door clicks shut. I lock it. My reflection looks too calm to belong to me. I brace my hands on cold marble and wait for tears that won't arrive. Instead, pressure pours concrete in my chest. People talk about heartbreak like weather, its anatomy. My ribs ache like someone's leaning on them. My heart chambers tighten, valves resisting, blood pleading for room. This must be what dying feels like. Quaternary and crushing. Night leaks out slowly. I lay awake in my old bedroom, listening to Chelsea laugh with our parents below as they plan her first road trip in the new car. At 2:17 a.m., I sit up. I pack in minutes, choosing with ruthless clarity. My grandmother's faded stuffed bear, a college photo album, the small wooden box holding my first professional blueprint. The costly gifts I just gave them stay where they are. They were never a currency that bought gratitude anyway. It's so quiet when I carry my suitcase downstairs that my own steps startle me. I place my house key on the kitchen counter beside the coffee maker, set to burble in 3 hours. They've chosen, now I choose. Streetlights smear into halos as I drive through empty roads, heater coughing against December. The dashboard clock blinks 3:42 a.m. Christmas morning. Bing Crosby croons about white Christmases until I twist the radio to silence. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. I whisper to the passenger seat, and my voice fractures on Mary. Past Portland's southern edge, my Toyota works hard against the cold. 7 years old, 200 zeros, 0 miles and loyal. It carried me through exams and first promotions and parking lots meant for smaller dreams. It never needed a bow to prove it belonged. Around 6, my phone vibrates on the console. Mom's face fills the screen. Not "Are you safe?" Not "Please come home." Just, "Did you remember to pay the electric bill for the cabin in Seattle? The cabin they bought for family weekends that mostly features in Chelsea's photos." A semi roars by, throwing slush over my windshield. For 3 blind seconds I'm skating on faith. When my view clears, memories rush in like floodwater. My 5th birthday, Chelsea's princess party, pony rides, professionals, a castle cake, 30 children in identical hats. My 6th grocery, store sheet cake, 2 kindergarten friends, crepe streamers from the dollar bin. Your sister needs social stimulation. Dad told me, you're more independent. Independent, their code for you don't need us. Graduation, I'm valedictorian. The family row is mysteriously half. Empty. Chelsea's JV soccer has an away game. We'll watch the tape. Mom promised. The VHS gathered dust on my dresser until college. Your sister needs the encouragement, she said. Another code. You'll survive without us. College. I worked 25 hours a week between the bookstore and the cafeteria. I overloaded credits and did math in the hours other people slept. Chelsea found her muse in Europe on my parents' dime. Your sister has to find herself. Dad insisted, you've always known who you are. Translation, exploration is for her, not you. Dad calls next. I let it ring out. The eastern sky warms, and headlights smear into gold as tears finally come. I pull onto the shoulder, hazard lights winking. Forehead to steering wheel, I see the pattern for what it is. Dad controlling money, Mom shaping emotions. A perfect seesaw, financial favoritism on one side, emotional leverage on the other. The phone rings again. Monica Perez, my college roommate, the person who saw me when my family squinted. Where are you? Her voice fills the car through Bluetooth, steady and warm. Southern Oregon. I say, heading south. To where? I don't know. She doesn't hesitate. Come to San Francisco. Stay with me. Family doesn't treat family like that. She knows. She saw the care packages filled with necessities for me while Chelsea unboxed designer labels. She watched me spend holidays in near-empty dorms while my parents drank cocoa in Aspen with my sister. I can't impose. You've been the helper your whole life, she says, suddenly stern. Let someone help you. Something inside me gives way with a quiet, seismic crack. Help, such a small word with a door in it. In my family, help only traveled one direction, toward Chelsea. Okay, I whisper, surprised by my own answer. Text me your location every hour. Drive safe. I'm making the guest bed. When the line goes dead, I roll back onto the highway. The wipers whisk fresh snow from a future I can finally picture. My shoulders loosen from their defensive hunch for the first time since midnight. By 7:30 a.m., the California sign greets me in clean morning light. My phone shows 17 missed calls, 32 messages. I mute Mom, Dad, and Chelsea with deliberate taps. The new silence has weight and mercy. Hunger drags me off at the next exit. A diner's neon open hums like an invitation. Inside, heat wraps around me. Coffee, bacon, and the faint sizzle of a busy griddle perfume the air. A waitress with silver in her hair appears with a pot. Rough night, she asks, pouring before I can answer. Her name tag says Gloria. Rough life. I mutter, wincing at the drama of it even as the words fit. She doesn't blink. Honey, I've poured coffee for 40 years. Heartbreak has a face. Family or lover. Family. She nods and slides me a menu. Blood makes you related. Love and respect make you family. Her weathered hand rests on mine a second. The special's good. Comes with extra bacon. I order the special and cling to the warmth of the mug. Outside, snow freckles the window and melts to nothing. Inside, Gloria's words root and take hold. Blood makes you related. Love and respect make you family. I've been related to the Collinses for 34 years. Maybe it's time to find out what family actually feels like. 3 weeks after Christmas, my phone rattles across Monica's nightstand, and for the 13th time before noon, Dad again. I count to 10, then silence it, letting his words pile up with the rest in a voicemail graveyard I'm not ready to exhume. The early messages were puzzled, then they grew concerned. Now they arrive dressed as authority, pressure in a parent's voice. Iris Elizabeth Collins. Dad thunders in the latest one when I finally listen. Return that car or I'm reporting it stolen. Enough with this nonsense. My car, my name on the title, 7 years of payments stapled to my memory. The bile rises anyway. Mom's message follows like weather after thunder. The doctor says my blood pressure is dangerous because of the stress you're causing. Is that what you want? For something terrible to happen to your mother? I delete them both and hate how long my thumb lingers over the screen. Monica's guest room is a soft terracotta that gulps up morning light and hands it back warm. On the dresser, my laptop blinks with an email draft I've rewritten 14 times. Dear Mr. Sanderson, dear Mr. Sanderson, I inhale, exhale, and press send before fear can negotiate. I'm formally requesting a transfer to our San Francisco office immediately. No strings pulled, no favors cashed. Just my record, my work, my name. 3 hours later, an approval lands as if it always belonged in my inbox. A clean yes, as if I've had this power the whole time. You got it. Monica leans on the doorframe, reading my face like a headline. Her curls halo with genuine happiness I still don't quite know what to do with. I start Monday. I say, tasting the words, now I need a place to live. I already talked to Andrea from book club. She says, sliding onto the bed. She manages a rent-controlled building in the Mission. Safe, walkable, 20 minutes to your new office. You didn't have to, I wanted to. She taps my knee. Friends help friends, no ledgers, wild concept, I know. I swallow around the sudden thickness in my throat. Novel, I admit. She sets a business card on my laptop. Also, I made you an appointment. Dr. Levine. Tuesday at 4. The card reads, Elaine Levine, PhD Family Therapy. I'm not broken, I say quietly. Monica's voice is gentle. You're carrying something heavy. She'll help you set it down. Tuesday, Doctor. Levine's office smells faintly of lemon polish and old paperbacks. She wears reading glasses on a beaded chain and shoes that don't make sounds on carpet. She doesn't rush the quiet. She lets it breathe until words finally find me. Favoritism. I say, the syllables landing like a found island, my whole life. And how did that feel? She asks, like I was worth exactly $2. I answer, surprising us both with the precision. By Friday, Andrea shows me a 650 square foot apartment with a kitchenette that winks at the idea of cooking. But the windows face west, pouring late sunlight over scuffed floors like an apology. I sign before sunset. That night, I buy a futon, a lamp, and a desk. The rest can arrive later. The emptiness feels chosen, not lacking. A shape with room to grow. Saturday, Monica drags me to a community center I would have walked past for years. Pottery, she announces. Your hands need something that isn't spreadsheets. I mock, protest, then sink my fingers into cool clay. It yields and resists in equal measure, honest in a way people seldom are. The instructor, silver hair, paints, bladdered overalls, stands behind me. Don't force it, she murmurs. Listen to what it wants to become. My hands tremble as I coax form from formlessness. By the end, I've made a small, uneven bowl. Crooked and perfect, entirely mine. The first video call from home arrives 4 weeks after Christmas. I let it ring twice, then answer, bracing for the undertow. Dad's face crowds the screen, flushed and loud. Where have you been? Your mother hasn't slept. Mom leans into frame, eyes shining in a way that never quite becomes tears. You moved without telling us. How could you? San Francisco's winter light spills across my new desk. I hear Dr. Levine in my head. Your feelings are yours. Their reactions are theirs. I needed space. I say, from what? Dad snaps, family, responsibility, adulthood, from being invisible. I answer, steady now that the truth has a handle. From being valued less than Chelsea, from trying to earn what should have been given. Mom's tears finally fall on cue. How can you say that? We've always loved you both the same. I'm not in charge of your feelings anymore. I tell her, and the words feel like pebbles I've been holding behind my teeth for decades, finally dropping into a clear pool. I'm responsible for mine. Dad's palm hits the table. This conversation ends until you apologize. Then it ends. I click the red button before my courage can second. Guess me. Within days, rumor leaves Portland and finds me in San Francisco, wearing other people's voices. LinkedIn pings and texts from old colleagues arrive with careful punctuation. I've had a breakdown. I'm living in filth. I joined a cult. On Instagram, Chelsea posts artfully lit photos, face tilted toward heaven, captions about family heartbreak, and prayers for those struggling with mental health. At the office, no one knows that story. Here, I'm just the engineer who makes impossible math behave and designs that keep standing when the earth forgets itself. 10 days later, Chelsea appears unannounced at reception, exactly the kind of scene she choreographed. She's in a meeting, Monica says, having materialized with takeout at the perfect moment, and she'll be in meetings indefinitely for drop. Ends. On Wednesdays, I sit on a folding chair in a church basement that smells like coffee and dust and listen to 8 strangers say true things. Family doesn't get a pass because they're family, says Raymond, an accountant with kind eyes who stopped calling his brother 2 decades ago. Love without respect isn't love, it's possession. The sentence clicks into place inside my ribs like a beam finally seated in its notch. 6 months after Christmas, my apartment has edges and softness. A real bed replaces the futon. Shelves carry bowls whose rims are less wavy than they used to be. The promotion to senior project manager arrives with a raise that replaces scarcity with calm. On my bookcase sits the plastic pig reimagined, now fat with crisp too, dollar bills, 1 for each week of freedom, not a grudge, a ledger of lessons learned. Sometimes the tiniest insult points to the largest truth. As the holidays creep closer, dread and relief braid together. No lists of gifts destined to land with a thud. No choreography of the unappreciated. No shrinking to fit a room. Just me, inside a life I built with my own hands, measuring my worth by something sturdier than anyone's approval. A month later, an ivory white envelope lands on my kitchen counter like a sleeping grenade. 3 days pass before I dare touch it. Vanessa Collins and Daniel Weaver cordially invite you to their wedding. My name gleams in looping ink below Iris Collins. No +1. Just me, an invitation to return to the scene of the crime called family. So, what's your plan, Doctor? Winters asks during our session, leaning forward in her chair. Her office smells of sage and tea. My fingers trace the brass tacks on the armrest one by one. I'm going, I say finally. She tilts her head, surprise softening her voice. That's a change from last week. On my terms, I add quickly. I booked a hotel 4 blocks from the venue. Dad called twice, insisting I stay at their rental house. I didn't answer. Her smile is small but approving. Sometimes silence is the loudest message. 7 months of therapy has taught me a new language: boundaries, self, worth, peace. 7 months since I drove away from that red, bowed driveway, since I began the slow rebuild. 1 pottery class, 1 therapy session, 1 deep breath at a time. My phone buzzes during the session. Chelsea. Her 3rd text today. Can't wait to see you next weekend. We need sister time before the wedding madness. I tuck the phone back into my purse. Your sister again. Dr. Winters asks. Suddenly we're best friends. I joke, though my laugh sounds thin. She never texted this much when I lived 30 minutes away. What do you think she wants? A ride from the airport, or money, or the version of me who carried her baggage? Emotional and literal. My fingers play with the fabric swatch in my lap. Midnight. Blue silk, the color I chose for the dress I commissioned. 3 fittings, tailored to my frame. It doesn't ask permission to exist. The color of power. I murmur. Not reconciliation. Winters asks. Power. I repeat, smiling. She nods. That's progress. I sigh. They're gathering reinforcements, though. Uncle Pete called to say family sticks together. Aunt Judith emailed about forgiveness being divine. Even Vanessa's fiancé sent a Facebook message. They're coordinating. Winters says. They're mobilizing. I correct, half laughing. And how does that make you feel? Before therapy, I would have lied fine. I was always fine. Now I close my eyes and take inventory. Tight throat, damp palms, pulse high, terrified, I admit, but ready. Later that night, I spread Vanessa's seating chart accidentally attached to her group email across my kitchen table. There I am, placed neatly between my parents, directly opposite Chelsea. The reunion tableau. I stare for a long moment, then reach for my phone. Hey, Vanessa. I say when she answers, her voice bright with wedding frenzy. Can I ask one small favor about the seating arrangements? Friday morning, fog wraps San Francisco in silver as my plane climbs above it. By the time we descend into Portland, the clouds part to reveal the green sprawl of my childhood, familiar and foreign all at once. The rehearsal dinner venue glows gold against twilight. I pause outside, my fingers brushing the smooth stone pendant Monica pressed into my hand before I left. Courage isn't the absence of fear, she'd said. It's walking forward while your fear follows. I square my shoulders and step inside. Conversations stop mid. Sentence, every head turns. My mother's hand flies to her chest. My father's drink halts midair. The version of me that left last Christmas hollow, shaking, voiceless, is gone. The woman who enters now wears tailored black pants, an emerald blouse, and heels that sound like punctuation against the marble floor. Confidence, not apology, walks with me. Chelsea is the first to recover. She approaches with arms wide, a smile stretched tight. You look amazing, she says, hugging me briefly. Thank you. I step back, leaving space. How's the BMW? Her eyes flicker. Oh, I traded it in, got a Honda, more practical. Her tone carries a humility I've never heard before. Beyond her shoulder, I spot our parents huddled with relatives. Mom dabs at her eyes. Dad's posture is smaller, shoulders caved in. Cousin Tara drifts over with a drink. You wouldn't believe the drama since Christmas. She whispers, your parents are selling the house. They say medical bills, but everyone knows Chelsea's debts buried them. I nod slowly. I see. A waiter offers champagne. I accept, watching bubbles rise like fragile promises. Uncle Simon approaches next, shaking my hand. You look well, Iris. The San Francisco job's treating you right. Senior project manager now. I say, letting the words stand proudly. His eyebrows lift. That's incredible. The compliments come in waves small, cautious, almost guilty. Cousin Michael murmurs that he always noticed the imbalance growing up. Aunt Martha hugs me too tightly and whispers, Your father lost his job months ago. Your mother's on anxiety meds. Each confession lands like a distant echo. I hear it, but it no longer decides my pulse. Dad corners me near the bar later, bourbon heavy on his breath. Family sticks together, Iris, he says, voice trembling between pride and desperation. Does it, I ask, or do some family members stick together while others get pushed out? His cheeks flare crimson. We always supported you. I meet his gaze. $2 in a piggy bank. I say quietly, that was your definition of support. His mouth opens and shuts like a man searching for the right century. Then he turns and walks away. In the ladies' room, Mom appears beside me at the sink. Her mascara is intact, but her voice trembles. We miss you, sweetheart, she says, reaching for my hand. I keep mine busy under running water. I miss who I thought you were. I say gently, drying my palms. Out on the terrace, Chelsea waves me over. The night air smells of roses and regret. The BMW got repossessed. She blurts, I'm drowning, Iris. Clients disappeared. Dad can't help anymore. Her voice cracks. I don't know how to stand on my own. Her confession hangs between us like a wet rope. 7 months ago, I would have reached out instantly, offered my couch, my savings, my sanity. Now, I just place a steady hand on her arm. That sounds really hard, Chelsea. I say softly, I'm sorry you're going through it. She blinks, confused. Compassion without rescue, it's new territory for both of us. I can help you draft a budget. I offer, but I can't fix this for you. She nods slowly, understanding more in silence than words. Over her shoulder, the rehearsal dinner hums. Laughter, glasses clinking, a photographer's flash the same world, but I'm not trapped inside it anymore. I realize then, I'm not afraid of returning. I'm not the forgotten daughter anymore. I'm the woman who left and rebuilt herself from blueprint to beam. Whatever comes next, I'll stand on foundations I laid myself. The next morning, sunlight filters through tall windows of the Magnolia Gardens bridal suite, gilding everything in soft gold. My cousin Vanessa stands radiant in white, a mix of nerves and joy glowing beneath her veil. The scent of roses fills the air, too sweet, almost dizzying. Iris, Aunt Martha whispers, touching my arm gently, Your parents are looking for you. They said it's important. Of course they did. It always is when the spotlight starts to shift. Tell them I'll come in a few minutes. I reply, fastening the last clasp on Vanessa's gown. The bride comes first today. She nods, understanding, but her eyes carry concern. They mentioned a family matter. 30 minutes later, I find myself facing the heavy oak doors of the library. My reflection in the brass handle looks steadier than I feel. I push it open. Mom sits perfectly upright in a wingback chair, tissues already clutched in her hand. Dad paces in front of the fireplace, his movements clipped, rehearsed. Chelsea stands near the window, her dress shimmering like armor. Iris, thank God. Mom says, standing, We need to talk as a family. I stay by the door. The ceremony starts soon. Dad gestures to the chair opposite them. Sit, this can't wait. I close the door behind me, but I don't move closer. I'm listening. Chelsea steps forward first, the chosen messenger. Dad lost his job 3 months ago. She begins, voice trembling just enough to sound sincere. Dad jumps in quickly. The company downsized. It wasn't performance related. Mom dabs at her eyes. I've been seeing a therapist for depression. It's been awful since you left. Chelsea adds the final blow. We're selling the house. There it is. The perfect trifecta. To guilt, crisis, obligation. The family performance I know by heart. 7 months ago, that script would have worked. I'd have felt the tug, apologized, offered to help, taken on their weight like it was mine to carry. But the woman standing here now has outgrown that stage. I'm sorry about your job. I say to Dad evenly, and I'm glad you're getting help, Mom. Confusion flickers across their faces. It's not the response they rehearsed. Didn't you hear what we said? Chelsea snaps. They're selling the house because of you. No, I reply calmly. They're selling the house because of choices they made long before I left. I set my purse on the table and remove a leather-bound photo album. I actually brought something for you. Mom frowns. We don't have time for, you called this meeting. I remind her, opening the first page, so let's make it worth the interruption. The photos glare back at them, decades of evidence arranged in silent symmetry. Chelsea's 5th birthday, pony rides, a castle cake, 30 kids in party hats. My 6th grocery store cake, 2 friends, paper streamers. I flip the page. Christmas mornings where one side of the tree glows with wrapped boxes for Chelsea, while my gifts occupy a small corner. Graduation photos with empty chairs where my parents should have been. Remember these? I ask softly. Patterns repeat when no one names them. Dad's jaw tightens. This is ridiculous. We always treated you girls equally. I slide a folder across the table bank statement. My student loans, $67,000. Chelsea's tuition, paid in full, plus a study abroad in Europe. Chelsea shifts, guilt and defensiveness warring in her eyes. That's not fair. You chose engineering. Yes, I nod. And you chose art, but only one of us got to follow her dream without debt. Mom's voice trembles. We didn't have the money when you went to college. I checked. I say gently but firmly. Dad's promotion came when I was 16. Grandma's inheritance arrived the summer before freshman year. You had it. You just didn't spend it on me. The room goes still, the kind of stillness that only comes after something shatters. I open the next section, birthday cards spanning 30 years. Chelsea's messages overflow with love and adoration. Mine contain reminders to be careful with money or keep working hard. Dad exhales, voice small now. We always knew you'd be fine. You didn't need us like she did. There it is, the buried truth, unearthed at last. Being capable doesn't mean I deserved less love. I say quietly, being responsible didn't mean I should carry everyone else's burdens. Mom's tears, for once, seem real. We never meant to hurt you. Intent doesn't erase impact. I answer. From my purse, I take the final relic, the plastic piggy bank. It lands on the table with a hollow clunk. Dad frowns. What's this supposed to prove? I pop the rubber stopper. A cascade of crisp $2 bills spills out, fluttering like pale confessions. One for every week since Christmas. I explain, not as revenge, as a record. A reminder of what you once decided I was worth. Chelsea picks up one bill, turning it over in her hands. I never saw it that way. She murmurs. They never taught me how to stand on my own. Outside, the sound of laughter and music seeps under the door, the rest of the family gathering to celebrate someone else's love story, while ours sits here unraveling. I don't need apologies. I say, standing, I need change. If we ever try again, it's on 2 conditions: family therapy and respect for my boundaries. Dad looks ready to argue, but Mom stops him, her voice low. We'll do it, she says, whatever it takes. I nod once. Good. I gather the album and the piggy bank, but leave the bills scattered on the table. Those are yours to keep a reminder of how easy it is to measure love by the wrong currency. Hand on the doorknob, I pause. I need to take my seat. Monica's saving me a place. Behind me, I hear Chell. See whisper to our parents, she's different now. I smile faintly. She's right. The woman who left that house last Christmas was brittle and breakable. The one walking out of this library stands tall, unburdened, unashamed, and finally aware that her worth isn't something anyone gets to assign. Outside, sunlight spills over the garden as the ceremony music begins. Guests rise. I take my seat beside Monica, heart steady, air sweet with roses. For the first time in my life, I don't feel like an outsider in my own story. I'm the architect of it, now the builder of something that stands. 1 year later, sunlight spills across the hardwood floors of my San Francisco apartment. The air smells of rosemary and sage from the turkey roasting in my oven, my first Christmas dinner in a home that is entirely mine. Friends fill the space, Monica laughing near the window, Elliot setting the table, music humming softly in the background. The sound of real joy, not the strained kind I used to fake at my parents' house, drifts through the room. To Iris, Monica toasts, raising her glass, the woman who builds bridges not just in skyscrapers, but in people's hearts. Heat rises to my cheeks. A year ago, I'd left a house full of decorations and disappointment, driving away from everything I thought love required. Now I'm surrounded by a family I chose, people who show up not out of obligation, but out of affection. Elliot lifts his glass next. And to senior project manager Collins, whose team finished the Richardson Tower 2 weeks early. Laughter fills the room. He squeezes my hand under the table, steady, warm, the kind of touch that doesn't ask but offers. Elliot is an environmental engineer. He understands the integrity of foundations in buildings and in relationships. When he first asked me out 6 months ago, I nearly said no. Old habits die slowly, especially the one that whispered, "You're too busy holding others up to be held." But Dr. Winters had smiled during our session and said, "Try saying yes to the possibility of peace." So I did. The oven timer dings, saving me from having to accept everyone's praise aloud. I retreat to the kitchen. Elliot follows, grinning. "Need help?" he asks. "I've got it." I answer automatically, then stop myself, remembering one of Dr. Winter's gentlest truths. Accepting help doesn't weaken you. It connects you. Actually, I say, smiling, "Could you carve the turkey?" I never learned how. His smile softens. "It would be my honor." As he sharpens the knife, my phone buzzes on the counter. Chelsea, our monthly video call, a boundary we built together. I swipe to answer. "Merry Christmas," she says. The background behind her looks smaller than it used to, a modest apartment, plain furniture. Her hair is darker, her eyes clearer. "You look happy." I am. I say honestly. Her smile warms. "Your place looks beautiful. It feels like home." I angle the camera toward the spare room that doubles as my pottery studio shelves lined with bowls and vases I've shaped over the months. Imperfect things that still hold beauty and purpose. "How are Mom and Dad?" I ask. Her tone softens. "Dad's 90 days sober today. He wanted me to tell you." My chest tightens, not in pain, but in quiet disbelief. "That's good." She turns her phone. Dad sits on a modest couch in a small apartment, thinner, older, but calmer. Meetings are helping," she says. "He's different when he's not drinking." And Mom, still volunteering at the community center. She wanted to join this call, but there's a food drive tonight. Chelsea hesitates, then adds, "They ask about you, not like before. Just wondering how you're doing." We talk a little longer. It's strange, gentle, like testing the strength of a rebuilt bridge. After the call ends, I set my phone down, the silence humming with peace instead of emptiness. Dinner begins. Laughter flows again. Monica's storytelling makes Elliot double over. Wine spills. Someone starts playing carols off. Key all of it gloriously imperfect. On the mantel sits the same plastic piggy bank, now filled with dollar bills instead of twos. Not a shrine to the past, but a quiet symbol of growth. Each dollar marks a week of gratitude instead of resentment. Later, after dessert, my phone lights up again. A photo from Chelsea, a clay ornament shaped like a heart, uneven, lopsided, beautiful. Not perfect, but made with love, her message reads, mailing it tomorrow. Another text follows from Mom. Found this while cleaning the attic. It always belonged to you. Attached is a photo of my childhood dollhouse, the one I'd spent hours decorating alone, while Chelsea played outside with friends. Beneath it, a scanned deed transfer in my name. I stare at the screen, emotions tangling between old ache and new understanding. Maybe this isn't forgiveness, but the slow work of repair. When everyone's gone and the apartment quiets, I step out onto the balcony. The city stretches below bridges glowing against dark water, the skyline traced in silver. Elliot joins me, draping a blanket around my shoulders. Deep thoughts, he asks. I watch the reflections shimmer. Just gratitude. I say, sometimes the biggest gift isn't what you gain, it's what you finally stop accepting. He smiles, pulling me close. You built a life that holds. Inside, through the glass, I can see the piggy bank on the mantel, bathed in warm light. A year ago, it symbolized what I lacked. Now, it reminds me of what I claimed my own worth. Worth that can't be measured in money or gifts or approval. Worth that doesn't need permission. Worth that stands, steady and unshakable, like the bridges I design built to last.